What's up, guys? It's Mike, the Smokin Monkey, and we're back at it. As you can see, Big Bird over here is looking a little dirty and a little bit muddy, and more than that, it's in need of a little bit of repairs. We had an interesting and eventful trail day. If you guys didn't catch that last video, you're definitely going to want to go back and check that one out after this, because it was crazy. Just to summarize really quick, basically we went to meet up with a bunch of people that were camping and go off-roading. When we got there, they were eating, so they said go explore a bit and come back and we'll go together. I went out, I had a good time for the first little bit, and then we got stuck in a mud hole. We broke the winch line, walked 2 hours to get reception, walked 2 hours back, then managed to mend the winch line, get it out. Nobody came because they couldn't find us. Then we ended up busting the beat off a tire. It's already like 11 o'clock at night at this point. After that, we ended up breaking both actually not both, we broke one control arm in the front in half on the driver's side, and the other one, the whole bracket ripped itself out of the actual axle. So everything kind of shifted forward and the springs were not sitting where they should be, and we had kind of a issue with that. So I managed to unjam the drive shaft from the actual the control arm from the drive shaft, because it was jammed in the front drive shaft. I unjammed it and I managed to get it moving, and we got it out of there. So lucky enough for me, I got it off the trail. Then we had to wait for a flatbed. We called him at 2 in the morning. He said he'd be there by 3. He showed up at 8. So our off-roading trip was like 30 hours long. It was nuts. And yeah, so let's get to it. Let's see exactly what happened to this thing, what's wrong with this thing, and what we need to fix. So you can see here, I'm using a strap on each side, a ratchet strap, to kind of hold the axle in place and hold it back where it should be. But our U-joint is already looking like it's gonna need repair. It's not looking that great. You can see there's already some scratches on it, and there is a little bit of grease coming out of it, so we might have to replace that already, and we just replaced that 2 weeks ago. But one thing kind of caused the other, so it is what it is. The lower control arm is good. The upper control arm, as you guys can kind of see in there, I know it's hard to see from this angle, but it is actually snapped in half. So let me see if I can get down and show you guys from here. You guys can see right up there that the control arm is actually in 2 pieces. This one over here ripped itself right out of the bracket. So you can see where the bracket is over here. There should be a control arm connected to it, but it's ripped right out. So unfortunately, we're gonna have to repair that as well. I managed to shift the axle back, and we also need a new inner tie rod on our new heavy duty steering. That is a result of everything shifting forward and sitting on the tie rod. I think the tie rod is actually, or the drag link I should say, is one of the things that saved me from rolling the axle too far, because everything kind of stopped once it hit here. This shifted itself forward and hit here. The track bar actually wrapped right around, so it actually sat right there. You can see where it hit over here, and you can kind of see the arms in 2 pieces over there. It's a little bit hard for me to get the camera in there, but it is in 2 pieces. You can see right here it's split. Yeah, no good. So I've got a ratchet strap on both sides holding my axle in place. Then I've got another ratchet strap on the front here holding it so it doesn't roll too far back. And this is just enough to kind of hold everything in place and have the springs not bowed, because the springs were all bowed out. I'll show you guys a picture of that right now, and you can see they're sitting a lot better right now. They're sitting pretty much where they should be. They're sitting straight on both sides, so we're good there. And lucky for me, I don't have a sway bar attached right now. My sway bar is up here bent out of the way, but I managed to use the sway bar links, the attachment points here, to throw a hook around and use that to hold my axle in place and roll it back. So now we should be able to limp it at least around, maybe limp it to the shop. I don't know yet. I haven't moved it since I've done the strapping. But you can see The one other thing that we also need here is a bump stop. This bump stop actually came loose, and you can see it's not sitting where it should be. It's moving a bit, and it's not centered anymore. It moved forward from when the spring bowed out. It pushed it forward. So yeah, quite a bit of repairs, quite a bit of things to do. And we've got three different valves that are leaking. I've got one over here. I've got this guy, which was on the back, that debeaded itself. That is flat now. That one, it ripped itself right there. So we need a new one on there. And this one is leaking. So we've got three valves that are leaking already. The thing looks like a rock, which I'm gonna take care of in a second, but mechanically it's not too much. We're gonna need a control arm bracket. We're gonna need control arms, which, if you guys remember, I already have all 8 control arms adjustable waiting to go in, so it's not too bad. I'm gonna have to re-weld that one bracket, replace all the arms, get a new inner tie rod. I'm gonna have to get new valves on 3 of the wheels, and I think there's one thing I'm still missing that I can't remember at the moment. Oh, the bump stop. That's right, I need to do the bump stop. So that is going to be the last thing. And it also got flooded inside, so you can see my jerry-rigged little fan here. So what I did was, basically, I stuck a fan inside, the one that I use for my roof when I'm actually, or for my ceiling I should say, for when I'm riding around and I don't have AC. So I've got the fan hooked up to a power bank, and that is basically drawing air out of the cabin, and I have the window cracked on that side to help draw air in, and it's helping me dry the floors. So that you can see the floors are dry now. Almost dry in the back. That side is dry. This side needs to dry a bit more. That's dry, that's dry. And as you can see here, there's a bit of cleaning to do. So we're gonna get to cleaning, and I will give you guys a full video of what I need to do and what I'm gonna do to clean it, because there is quite a bit of stuff to do. But for now, I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna wash it first. And I've got an interesting way to wash it. I've got actually my buddy Yuri, he was kind enough to help me out. He's got a DeWalt portable power washer. It only has 550 psi, but it should be more than enough to clean this thing off. But yeah, basically you throw a battery in it. It's like a big drill almost, it looks like, and it's a power washer. It's got a hose. You throw it in a bucket, or you can hook up your hose to it and go for it. So if you guys want to see how that thing works and you want to see if it actually cleans this off, then stay tuned for that video, because that's going to come out next. I'm going to go tape that right after this. But yeah, that's pretty much all the mechanical stuff that I need to do, everything that needs to get done. And I lost the light too. When my brother was climbing up here to get the winch for me, we lost the light, so the light's gone. Unfortunately, I have it in there. You can see the wires are hanging here. I will get that done. I will figure something out. I might need a new bracket or something for that. And the winch cable snapped, not of the fault of the cable. Actually, the winch cable is pretty decent, but the problem is my brother didn't know exactly how to operate the winch properly. So when I was letting the cable out for him while he was walking with it, he didn't let it tension. He was letting it slack up, and it got to the point where I had to press reel in for it to reel out, because it got tangled so much in the drum. And there wasn't much I could do without getting out, and I couldn't get out at the time, as you guys can see from the last video. So unfortunately, it wound itself up, and the way it wound itself up in there, it kind of hit a sharp spot and something happened, and it cut. So it broke right here. Basically, I eventually re-mended it and I tied it back up, and it was fine. So the winch cable is strong. I don't think it's the winch cable's fault. I will be replacing it with the same winch cable, but I think it is more operator error at that point. I didn't let him know that he has to keep it at full tension the whole time. And it's not like you got to keep crazy tension on it, but you can't let it slack up. You can't let it bind up inside the drum while it's spinning, because this is what happens. But it is what it is. It's not that crazy of a price to buy a new cable. They're like $200 I think, so I will buy that one. I know that a regular one is like $600. This one's like $200 off Amazon. It will do the job, and as you can see, you can tie it back up when you need to. So worst comes to worst, you still will get out. But hopefully you guys, like I mentioned in my video when I put the rope on, it's all operator error. It's all how you use it and how you actually treat the rope that's going to determine if it's going to last you or not. So I don't blame the rope. I think the rope was fine, and we'll move on from there. I'm also going to need to replace 2 tires. You can see the tires here are missing a few chunks. You can see these ones are already getting sliced up from all the rocks that we've been on, as well as this one is missing a few chunks. It looks like someone got hungry and took a bite out of my tires, but we'll repair that. We'll get new tires. I have the warranty on the tires, so I don't have to worry about that. They will actually replace them for me, and I don't really have to worry about buying myself new tires. So I'm going to get 2 new tires, 3 new valves. Basically every single wheel on this thing needs to get serviced. Something needs to get done to every single wheel, and yeah. So that's what happens when you guys wheel. So get prepared, get ready. If you guys are gonna go out there and start off-roading your vehicle, this is basically what you have to expect. And it's not that bad. I bought this thing to off-road it, and I bought this thing to make content, so hopefully you guys are enjoying it, because I know I am. And it's a lot of work. It's getting kind of nuts, but hopefully after we get all these new parts in, it'll be stronger. And I do plan on either doing a truss and guss on the front and the rear axles just to get them a little stronger, or at the bare minimum plating and welding up the brackets to make them a little stronger. Because last year I already ripped out the uppers in the rear, the upper control arms in the rear. This year we ripped out the front uppers. So now let's just weld up all the extra brackets that we haven't replaced already, because I replaced the rear ones. So let's weld up the fronts, the bottom ones, the rear, the bottom ones, and the one that I broke, and let's just make sure everything's nice and strong, plate it, weld it, and whatever we need to do. But that's the plan. So stay tuned for that, because there will be a lot of stuff that we're going to get done soon, and we will be back on the road and back on the trail before you know it. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for sticking around. Hopefully you guys will be here with me for the next one, and until then, ride safe out there. Peace.